early to those of you that like to wake up a little bit earlier than myself. But yeah, it's a nice early Sunday morning, and we're back here again for another round of ISRL Esports of Season 2, our shortened season. And we're opening it up here today with Tier 3 in Azerbaijan. It's going to be one hell of a Grand Prix, as it always is. Very, very close walls everywhere. Much danger. And in the booth with you guys tonight is BLIN-MACHINE, and with me tonight, co-commentating, is the darkest driver. It's the Knight himself. Hello, how's it going?
Hello, I'm good. You?
I'm pretty good. I'm really excited to see what sort of action we're going to get from our drivers in Tier 3 here today, especially this being a very, very dangerous track.
Yeah, it's close walls everywhere. It's known for having quite a bit of safety cars here. Even our practice races have gotten their fair share. It's a tricky track. Drivers need to be aware at all times of where they are, where other cars are. Not many corners where you can go side by side here in Baku, so I expect to see a lot of crashes. We're already getting a yellow flag in Sector 1 somewhere, but I expect to see a lot of broken front wings as well here today. And it's going to be a race of attrition more than it is of pure pace. Whoever can survive should score some good points.
Absolutely. I think it's also going to be much of a race of strategy, since, you know, whenever the safety cars are going to come out, whenever we're going to have those incidents, people are going to have to jump off of whatever they've been planning for the race and sort of go with the flow, make decisions on the fly. Speaking of minor incidents, Joseph Cozy, that we're watching on board with right now, he was a podium finisher last week, finishing in 3rd position, going out for the first fast lap on the track right now, going through turn 1, getting a pretty good rotation through there, kissing the outside apex a little bit. Oh, going wide into turn 2, opening up the DRS now, so that definitely lost him a bit of time. On his outlap, he almost crashed into the wall of turn 10 in the castle section, so got to be very, very careful through that section. It's obviously one of our favorite sections to watch. You've got about 4 different corners in very quick succession, all going in opposite directions, walls everywhere, so you really got to be on your game here today. So far, he does set the first sector into purple, but not sure that that's going to stick for too long, as this first lap from Joseph doesn't seem to be as quick as it possibly could be.
No, there's definitely some time to be gained here. You're seeing him be a bit shy around some corners, especially this one here. He's really taking his time. He is on the medium tires. We do have a sideways Alfa Romeo there. Not sure what happened, but yeah, you can see him, he's inching a little bit, being a little bit timid around certain corners. He's on the medium tires, he's not going to get maximum traction, and the track is still very green, as we see yet another car.
Yeah, that was Ivory Bryn, facing the wrong way, coming out of turn 15 or 16 there, so got to be very, very careful here. And we've got a 5-place grid penalty already for Joe Dimes. That's not going to be very good for him. That's going to set him into some traffic at the start of the race. And on this lap, on this track, you do not want to be in traffic on the first lap at all.
Oh no, absolutely not. Somebody can lose it in front of you, and it creates kind of one of those NASCAR-style roadblocks where you don't really have anywhere to go but directly in it. So you want to be able to get some clean air really early on in the race if you want to stand any chance at keeping your car clean through the end.
And D10 is now missing his front wing as well, so both of the Force Indias or Racing Points are both having a little bit of trouble early in the qualifying session, but we still got 12 minutes to go here, so I think lots of chances for them to go out again and maybe try and nail a better lap in and get a better position. Right now we've got many people on track. We've actually got another yellow flag. That seems to be Haas somewhere that has spun out as well, or a Renault. I was checking Thomas, but I didn't see anything, but he is missing his front wing, and he just came into the pit, so I think he had an incident coming out of turn 18 or 19 there, so one of the little curves towards the end of the track.
Yeah, if you clip that wall just on the inside or hit the curb wrong, it can really send you into there, and you're going 200, almost 300 kilometers an hour already at that point on the circuit, so a slight mistake can have pretty big ramifications.
Yeah, this track has no forgiveness for mistakes whatsoever. It's pretty much like Monaco, but on on a little bit of a quicker pace than you would expect from Monaco. And as I was just watching there, ISRL Lewis crossing the line, putting himself into third position with a 140.6. We've got Klunenberg currently sitting in second with a 140.654. So those are only separated by a few thousandths of a second. And then LSF1 Roman is currently leading by about 0.3 of a second in provisional pole with a 140.3. I unfortunately missed out on the Tier 3 race last week as I was preparing myself for commentating for Tier 2. But give me a little bit of a rundown of what happened, and how did Joseph end up on the podium? Because, I mean, that was very impressive from him.
Well, it was one of those races where you had to kind of stick through it, right? There's a lot of safety cars, lots of people losing it. It's Australia. We all know about the tricky curbs that you can face over there. And it was very much a little bit like we expect this track to be, right? You keep your nose clean, you keep the car where you want it to be, you stay out of incidents, and eventually the points kind of fall onto your lap. He was, I think, 7th or 8th coming towards the end of that race, and it wasn't until the very last lap that he was able to get himself into the podium positions. So if he can keep doing that, do that again today, we might see him kind of stay at the back of the pack for most of the race, and at the very, very end he makes that push and he gets that position, and points home for Red Bull.
Well, that sounds like a very exciting race, so I'm hoping for more of that sort of action here today, and some wheel-to-wheel racing is definitely guaranteed in Azerbaijan. I'm going to go on board here with ISRL Tommy, who's about to start his first quick lap on this qualifying session on a set of medium tires. So he's definitely playing the long game in this one. He's actually my teammate for Tier 1 this year as well, so very nice to see him racing in other groups here. I'm guessing that he's using this for more of a practice and sort of trying to get really used to the track and to the competition. But he's done very good through turn 1 and 2 so far. He's got his DRS open and maxing out the car into turn 3 right now. Let's see how he's going to get through here. Kissing the inside apex, doing a really nice job, getting a pretty good exit there. Upshifting early, coming into turn 6 now. That was very smooth as well. And now coming to the end of the first sector, he is currently, it's not showing me his downtime, but he was 35 seconds into the first sector, so that was not bad at all. It was not purple, but I think he's doing pretty good overall. Now coming into turn 7, and now into our favorite section on this track, the castle section. And this is very quick succession into turn 8 and 9 and 10, and then you got to get a really good exit out of here.
Yeah, that curve coming out of the castle section, that very last one, you can go very, very wide on it, gain a bit of time, and usually the game's not going to ding you. So it lets you carry it just a little bit through, a little bit more speed through those final 2 turns of the castle section, save a little bit of time. We didn't see Tommy do it there. We will probably be seeing people do it later on in this qualifying session. Tommy with a purple sector too as well.
Yeah, and he's coming to the end of his lap right now, getting a little bit twitchy on the exit of the 19, which was really not a real corner. It's a little bit of a curb, but yeah, he's getting a pretty good run coming down to the line right now. Where is this going to put him? He goes 5th overall, 141.2 on a set of medium tires. That's not bad at all. We've actually got quite a few people that have set their quickest lap so far on the mediums, including our pole sitter at the moment, Roman. He's with a 140.3, just doing a 1 lap on the medium tire. And that's very impressive as well, because I noticed with the medium tire, to get a really good time out of it, you might want to run it for a couple of laps, but then it puts you in a little bit of a worse position at the start of the race. So people being able to do that on that kind of set and those sort of times, that's very impressive. And as we were talking there, Thomas just went around with a 139.4, although he is on a soft tire. We've got a Alfa Romeo that spun out at the exit of turn 2 there and is making a little bit of an awkward, it's doing an awkward Austin Powers turnaround to try and get out of there. As we're watching ISRL Lewis, who's going out on an outlap right now. He's just about to start it now as he's coming into turn 1. He's chosen to go on another set of medium tires. He completely overruns turn 1, but doesn't get the lap invalidated, so he can still possibly try and rescue this. Going really wide into turn 2 as well, almost hitting the wall there, opening up the DRS. I don't think this is going to be a good run from him, and he's abandoning it already.
Yeah, now, one thing I would like to point out with ISRL Lewis here, you might have known him as Fudge Lotus from last week. He changed his name over the past few days, but his first lap time was actually set on the hard tires. So he's in P6 right now, but if he keeps that position, he'll be starting the race on those hard tires he qualified on. So he could be in a very, very good position in terms of going deep into the race and maybe taking the lead through people pitting under safety car. As long as he doesn't set another lap time on those mediums or a set of softs.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a few different strategies, I guess, that they can play at today. So this is going to be very interesting to see on how they're going to play that out. And also the incidents, and knowing that this is Azerbaijan, we get quite a few incidents and safety cars usually in league races around here. So how the drivers are going to react to that and how they're going to play it out, and are they going to be able to keep their tires warm and alive for long enough to play out those strategies, that's going to be one of the main things for us to follow here tonight. Thank you for everybody who's already joined the stream. We've already got quite a few people watching, so leave a like, leave a comment, let us know if we're missing out on anything, or if you're rooting for any of your favorite drivers here today. We've got quite a few up-and-coming stars that we're probably going to be following for quite a while. I'm on board right now with Mason Harris 2000. I have not seen his name around too much, but he's going out for another lap on a medium tire as well. So there's quite a few people that are trying to play this medium strategy, and they're not even afraid to sacrifice more than one set towards it.
Yeah, now the soft tires around this circuit will only last you about 7 or 8 laps if you've qualified on them, and if you've taken care of them during qualifying. So unless you're banking on one of those very early safety cars, which it is Baku, we probably will get, those soft tires will not really put you in any position to be dictating your strategy in this race. You're kind of going to be at the mercy of everyone around you. So those guys who are sacrificing a couple of grid spots but putting on the mediums, if there's an early safety car, you might see them take advantage of that, take the lead right away, pit a little bit later on. But if we get multiple safety cars early on in the race, then they might see their advantage completely disappeared as Mason Harris makes big contact with that inside wall in the castle there. But it's going to be interesting to see how this tire strategy plays out. It's all going to depend on the safety cars here in Baku.
Absolutely, and Mason Harris, unfortunately, they're not having a very good run through the first couple of sectors on this track, hitting the wall in the castle section and then also almost touching the wall through turn 4. So now he's going to be coming around to the end of the second sector, and he's over a second down on the leader, which is currently actually the Annihilator. He's put in a very, very quick lap. He's over half a second away from Thomas at the moment. He's done a 138.9 on a brand new set of soft tires, and we've got some other people out on track right now as well that are going to be going out for their last runs, it seems like, because we've only got about 3 minutes to go in the session, 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
Yeah, very long track in Baku. It's not one of those racetracks where you can go out with 2 minutes left in qualifying and still potentially set 2 laps in. You really got to go out now, or else you're not going to get it any time. It takes a minute 40-ish seconds to go around at full speed. If you're on an out lap, a little bit more. So if you don't get out on track right now, I think we're going to see some drivers who are going to miss out on setting a final qualifying time.
Absolutely, and now back on board again with ISRL Tommy. He's decided to switch over to the soft tire, and he's going to be trying to go for a higher position here today. Let's follow on track with him. He's going through turn 1, getting a really good run through there and a good exit, very smooth on the acceleration, and now coming into turn 2. Got to kiss the inside apex, get a wider run on the outside. I noticed that gives you a really good launch onto the straight with the DRS open, maxing out your ERS at the same time as well, and now coming into turn 3. This one is a little bit more complicated. You got to be really hard on the brakes, but then you got to get a good smooth exit. And now turn 4 is also pretty hard. The first 4 corners are pretty much all 90-degree corners, and now coming into 5 and 6. Got to get a pretty good run out of here to make sure that you get as much time as you can. And now coming into turn 7, you can cut as much of the corner as possible here, really, as long as you're running on that red apex on the inside. You're not going to get any penalties. Same thing for these couple of corners. And he's getting a very smooth run through the castle section so far. Let's see if he can get a good exit out of turn 12. He does, and he's currently running for a pretty good time here overall. Let's see if he can keep this up. He's coming to the end of the second sector very, very soon, and we're going to see how much of a time he's got down or up on the leader right now. He's crossing that. He's down by 1.3 seconds, and he's setting that second sector into purple as well. So amazing lap time so far from Tommy. This could be a contender for the pole. Absolutely. This could be possibly into the 138.5s or so, or maybe even less.
Yeah, super quick from Tommy there. At this point, there's not much he can do to improve his time. Just got to put the pedal down all the way and stick it through the straightaway. I don't think he improved. Did he improve his time there? Just a little bit, did he?
Yeah, he went into 5th. He was in 8th at the moment, so he only improved to a 139.6. I was hoping that he might gain a couple more tenths on that lap, but our leader is currently on an out lap, but he's in the middle of the track pretty much with 40 seconds to go to the line. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make it.
I don't think he will. Even that racing point ahead of him, I think they just timed it just a little bit too late there. It's going to be close even for guys like Hartman, who are coming around the final corner just now. They have 24 seconds to get that car going, get all the way to the start-finish line, which is, what, 2 kilometers away or something on this circuit. Very long straightaway. And it's going to be close. I think he's going to be able to just make it, but those that racing point of Iverbryn, Mike, and our current pole sitter are not going to make that start-finish line in time, unfortunately for them.
So we're on board right now with one person that is out on another medium set. Mason Harris not having a good run through the first sector on this track. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else that could possibly challenge for pole right now. Is Thomas on the quick lap?
I believe he is. Yeah, he's coming around turn 3 right now.
No, he's not pushing at all.
Yeah, I think he's abandoned that one there. Yeah, we see him pull over, give way for this Red Bull of Killing for Cash. It seems like all of our
so Iverbryn is still on the quick lap, as well as Mason Harris. So those are pretty much the only two that can possibly put in some quicker laps in this session. Mason Harris was not having a good run for the first couple of sectors, so I don't think he's going to put in a much better time than he's currently got at a 141.4. But Iverbryn so far not doing too badly through the first sector. He's coming into the castle section right now. Let's see what sort of a run Hartman gets out of his way into the runoff area. Very nice from him. Thank you so much for doing that. That is very good sportsmanship. ISRL Tommy is now retired from the session. He's gonna stay in 5th place as long as nobody else is gonna knock him down. Iverbryn is now coming to the end of the second sector, almost going around turn 15. Getting a pretty good run there, running the curb a lot, getting the car to jump into the air a little bit. Let's see his time. He is down by 7 tenths overall, so he might be putting in a better time than he's currently got in 8th place.
Yeah, now I think there might have been a slight sync issue with the timers because our pole sitter's also on a fastest lap. I saw him set 2 purple sectors already, so improving his time as well. He's on the main straight right now. He is going to be the last one across the start-finish line, I think. And as Iverbryn Mike doesn't improve his time, our leader does improve his. Yeah, he goes 2 tenths faster, just to, you know, kind of clamp down pole position just a little bit more there. Thomas came very close to him at the end, and if I do remember, they were both in the 900s, the 38.9s, but Annihilator just getting in that last lap. Last guy on track, he has the greenest, not the greenest track, but the most worn in, rubbered in qualifying racetrack of any other drivers today, and he's able to improve his lap time by just a little bit here in Baku.
Yeah, that seems to be our grid for today. The Annihilator is going to be starting in pole position with Thomas in 2nd, ISRL Lewis in 3rd, Kuhlenbeck in 5th, and Iverbryn actually did improve to 5th position from his 8th, so that actually you know, went a little bit quicker. Yeah, and Tommy is now down to 6th place. Killing for Cash is 7th, Joseph in 8th, Roman in 9th, so dropping quite a few positions from sitting in provisional pole. He did not make it to the line on his brand new set of soft tires at the end of the session, and that's what really hurt him, I guess.
Yeah, some drivers, yeah, not able to get those laps in the way they wanted to. We're seeing a big gap here between 1st and 3rd. After that, kind of tapers off. It's a little bit closer when we get to the midfield there. We see Joseph Cozy and Rome setting identical lap times on different sets of tires, both with a 1:43.83. Cozy's going to get the advantage very early on in this race. He's going to get more traction off the start line. but Rome, if provided there's no safety car, Rome should be all over him in a matter of a couple laps. There's going to be some interesting strategies that are going to play out today, especially Lewis on those medium tires in P3.
And it's nice to see that we've got a mix of strategies on the starting grid. So that's going to mix things up right off the bat for everybody being on different pace and having to warm up those tires on the start of the race as well. So we will have to wait and see. We're not too far away from the race start here. Just as a reminder, this 2 of only 7 races in this short season 2 of ISRL Esports. This particular race today is the first race of the day with Tier 3. We're also going to have Tier 2 and Tier 1 racing later on today, so please follow and join us later for those streams to follow all the action that's going on in the other tiers. But as I was saying last week when I was commentating on Tier 2, or Tier 4, sorry, you know, in a shortened season, you don't have as many points to play for. So you really have to push on every single race, and that has created so far a lot of incidents, a lot of people coming together, a lot of reviews that have to be done after the race.
Yep.
So what are you expecting here today? And this being obviously Azerbaijan, are you saying that, you know, we're going to have sort of a lot of the same?
Well, I'm expecting a safety car. That's about the only guarantee I can make. With these tight walls and this many cars on track, I can't really predict anything beyond that. All it takes is one car kind of not knowing where another one is on track. We get an incident, we get a safety car, and it shakes up the whole grid. I will say that Lewis, I think, will be a contender today. He's on the medium tires, so if there is an early safety car, he doesn't have to pit. Same with a couple of our guys lower in the top 10. Starting with Rome and Mason Harris, the 2 Ferraris, also on the medium. So we're looking at guys who, if there is a lap 1, lap 2 safety car, won't have to dive into the pits to get off those softs. They're going to essentially take the lead of the race. And I think that's going to be something we need to watch for. It's going to be strategy under safety car, who makes the right pit stop when, and I think that's what's going to win the race today.
All right, so I'm getting very excited for this one. I'm going to try and follow as many people as possible and get as many incidents as possible, but as you said, because this is Baku, we can expect a lot of different action and a lot of things happening in different parts of the track. So excuse me right ahead of time if we don't catch everything, but we're going to try and catch everything that's going on in terms of the action on the track and the battling and the incidents, especially on the first couple of laps, because that's when we're expecting everybody to be really close and really attacking. I think a lot of drivers in Formula 1 in general have this understanding that you can gain a lot of positions or lose a lot of positions on lap 1, so expect a lot of dive bombs, and that's something that is very dangerous to do. Overtaking in general around this track, unless you're on that start-finish straight, is going to be a little bit of a struggle, so you're going to have to really pick your moments and be as careful as possible around here. Also, keeping your front wing intact is something that is absolutely number one around this track, and tire temperatures from me racing here, I personally remember them constantly overheating because you're always either pushing or you're defending or you're going into corners a little bit quicker than you're supposed to as the tires wear out. So something that there's a lot of different factors that people will have to watch out for here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Tire temperature is a huge factor here, especially with this heavy acceleration, heavy braking at just about every corner. Drivers are going to have to be hyper vigilant about their tires today.
All right, so we are on the grid now. We've got 5 lights on, and we are going racing in... Oh, no, we've got a little bit of a lights glitch going on.
Yeah, should be going just about right now, I think.
There we go. We're racing in Azerbaijan, and we're watching on board from ISRL. Lewis, who gets a beautiful run, and he's already into second place now. Back at the back of the group, we've got some people running 3 wide and 2 wide into the first corner, but so far, oh, I've seen a couple of pieces of front wing flying off. We've got Eisen at the back that's dropping really back. I'm not sure what happened to him there as well. People changing positions all over the place. ISRL Tommy is now making an attack on Ivor Bryn, who's up into 3rd position already. And they're going into turn 3. ISRL Lewis is off. He's off into the run-up at turn 3. And that's pretty much going to be the end of his contention for a better position here today. He's going to drop to, I'm guessing, the end of the grid now.
Mike as well. Iverburn Mike loses it coming out of turn 4. He spins the car around. Tough start for a couple of drivers. I saw a lot of pieces of no retirements yet, though. It looks like everyone getting the car through it, at least in mostly one piece. But ISRL Lewis, Iverburn Mike, both drivers with excellent starts, and unfortunately getting a little bit unlucky here in the middle stages of lap 1.
Yeah, I'm seeing pieces of front wing through the castle section as well, so I'm guessing that a lot of people have damage at the moment. Some people have moved up a lot of positions. I'm going to pull up the position change here. ISRL Tommy is up into 2nd place right now, starting from 6th on the grid. Mason Harris is up into 3rd, but he's got a bunch of damage on his front wing, so that's not going to help him keep that position intact. And then Thomas has dropped down to 4th place from starting in 2nd. ISRL Joseph Cozy is up into 5th position for starting in 8th as well, so very nice for some people, but a few people have damage on their front wings. There was incidents in turns 3, 4, and now I'm seeing another piece of front wing flying off of Mason Harris's front wing. He touched the wall coming out of turn 18 and 19 somewhere there. That's not going to help any of them. The Annihilator is pulling away by almost 4 seconds already as Mason Harris goes into the pits. I'm expecting some more people to come in right now as well, but other people with damage are continuing on.
No one else pitting, not at least until these back markers here. We're seeing even more pieces of front wing flying off coming out of turn 1. Everybody just kind of pushing a little bit too hard, I think, right now, and it's going to cost them in the end. Annihilator just getting away. He was the only one who was able to get that clean start and kind of get away from any other cars. Of course, this is Baku. All it takes is one tap, and it can change everything. But so far, he's looking like he's in a strong position to take the win very early here.
Absolutely, and we've got some people now in a little bit of a train here, down from Klunenberg, Hartman Esports, Roman, and Pepos Max. They're all pretty much running in a single line here, trying to fight all the way up for 5th position, possibly. They're on a mixed strategy of tires as well. Klunenberg is on soft, so that we've got Hartman, Roman, and Pepos Max are all on medium tires. So this is going to be one hell of a battle to watch. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. That looks to be a Renault that's going slowly coming out of turn 7, so I think he possibly touched the wall there. Roman has front wing damage as well. I'm watching on the right side. He's missing quite a bit. That must be like an orange damage.
Let's see, Roman. Yeah, it's looking a little bit tough here. You can see him really slowing down to take those corners.
And we've got a safety car.
Yeah, we do. So there's that safety car I was talking about. I'm not sure what launched that one, though.
There's a Racing Points that's very slow through the castle section, so I think that might have been it. But yeah, I don't see any major incidents. We've got a 5-second penalty for Balaz Andrew. That was for a severe collision with Ravens, so that must have been possibly somehow connected to that. Roman is into the pits. Tommy, Annihilator, Thomas, Joseph, Klunenberg, Eisen, they're pretty much all into the... Or no, sorry, Eisen is continuing on, so he's going to inherit 3rd place or 4th place right now. Yeah, he actually manages to go across the Annihilator, so he goes into 3rd.
Yeah, so we're seeing some of those drivers that managed to get through the first couple corners with no damage on the medium tires. They're the ones in the lead right now. Hartman and Pipos, both Mercedes, apparently nailing the strategy here. They're going to be P1, P2 on the safety car restart. And just looking through the track, and I'm not seeing heavy damage on anybody, but we did see a lot of front wings, and we know this game sometimes does call safety cars for excessive debris. So I think that might just be that there was too many front wings somewhere on this racetrack. The game had to clear them out, called the safety car for it. It's going to bunch the pack up, though, and this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying it's going to shake everything up. We're seeing guys like Aizen in P4, despite starting dead last, and then we're seeing guys that started on the podium, in podium positions like Lewis, all the way down into P9, but they're all on similar tires. So it's going to be a very hectic restart. It's going to be we're going to see a lot of people changing positions here in the coming laps as soon as they get going again.
Yeah, and everybody but 3 people have decided to pit under that safety car. So the only people that did not were the 2 Mercedes of Pepos Max 87 and Hartman Esports, who are currently 1st and 2nd in this race. And then Eisen 037 He did not pit and inherited 4th place, so jumped quite a few positions there. But we actually have one person with 2 stops already, Mason Harris. So he sort of got 1 stop for free under that safety car. He's not in a very good position after his incidents in the first part of this race, in the first couple of laps. So he's down in 15th place right now. But now I just want to check out the tire strategies and who decided to go on what. So the 2 people at the front, the 2 Mercedes that did not pit in this race, they are continuing on the medium tires that they had fit on at the start of the race. The Annihilator has switched on to mediums. Eisen is continuing on his mediums as well. And then Tommy, Joseph, Thomas, Roman, Roman went on hard tire. Thomas Elb, they went on the medium tire. And then Lewis and Kluenberg on medium. D10 decided to go on soft, so he's gonna... But realistically, do you think that you can carry out these medium tires for 22 laps or 21 laps once we get restarted?
No, from experience, having raced here yesterday, no. Everyone on those mediums are going to have to pit again. We had guys pit on lap 4, and we're talking about guys like Sweet Crown or Pube, who are some of the better drivers in Tier 1. They know how to conserve their tires. They know how to set their car up to not chew through their tires. And having put mediums on lap 4, around lap 20, they're already complaining about being up to 60-70% on the rears. So anybody on those medium tires are going to have to pit again. However, those hard tires have a chance to last until the end. So we have a couple guys here who may not have to pit again until the end of the race.
Yeah, and those would be LSF1, Roman. We would have Raven that possibly might be in a better position towards the end of the race, as well as Mason Harris after having a couple of incidents and having to replace his front wing, having to pit twice in the first couple of laps. And then also Joe Dimas. Now, Joe Dimas has a little bit of a, like, he's got potential, he's got pace. I've seen him race quite well before, so I'm not sure if he's very happy with his 20th place at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's he just had kind of an unlucky start. He got in very late. He's one of our reserve drivers today, and I think he just kind of got a little bit unlucky. He's trying to hamper down right now, put the hard tires on, and just kind of put some laps in. As long as he stays clear, like you said, we've seen a lot of pace from him. I think we'll be able to see him at the very least fighting for points by the end of this race. He did very well last week in Australia. And yeah, like you said, I don't think he's very happy being in P17. I know for sure he's going to want to improve that, and he's going to be willing to put the work in and the overtakes in to do it.
Yeah, and while we were talking there, safety car is coming in on this lap, but also Mason Harris got a 5-second time penalty for making contact with somebody under the safety car. That has been something that's been popping up more and more recently, those penalties for making contact under the safety car or cutting particular corners on particular tracks and getting instant penalties. Have you seen any of those yourself?
Yeah, it's people not giving a ton of room under safety car. Everyone we know is very eager to go. Very trigger happy on the gas pedal, and you're not giving proper room to the car ahead, as we see them going again here. And you know, it's the guy ahead of you brakes, you're not expecting it, you start hitting him, just like Joe Dimas did right there on Balaz Andrew, and you end up picking up a 5-second penalty.
Alright, and we've actually got Hartman overtaking, oh no, sorry, he's staying in second place. So the Annihilator now, as they're getting restarted, ISRL Tommy was making an attack on Eisen, and he did manage to get that into 4th position now, as he almost makes contact with the wall coming out of turn 2. So people are already toying around again with the walls just after they've replaced their front wings and came out of the pits.
Yeah, Rome and Lewis right now having a very good...
Oh, we've got massive contact!
Through corners in a row. And yeah, look at that Red Bull making everybody check up. Looks like there's a little bit of contact coming up behind. I don't see any damage on Rome and Lewis. Looks like they got away okay. But Joseph Cozy, I think, was the one hitting that wall there. Very unfortunate for him.
Yeah, Joseph and Thomas Elb unfortunately got tied up in that one, and I think there was quite a bit of front wing damage for both of them, but Roman manages to capitalize on that and jump into 6th position now, as well as Lewis manages to recover a couple of positions. We got a Sector 2 yellow flag. Oh my god, that is a Mercedes Hartman Esports that's completely spun around and he's still backwards through the castle section, sitting backwards at the entrance of turn 12. That is a very dangerous place to be in, and now he's going to drop to the very back of the grid, except for Joe Dimas, who's running through the end of Sector 1 now. But wow, that was a very interesting incident for him. I'm not sure how he ended up there.
Yeah, I think he might have just clipped that right inside on the last corner of the castle section with his rear wheel, and you know how easy these cars are to send around when you do that. I'm sure we've done it in the Monaco chicanes plenty of times.
We've got another safety car. Mason Harris has retired on track somewhere. Let me go see if we can find him, as Joe Dimas Hartman is going to come around now. Is somewhere at the end of the track here. We're going to have to wait and see.
Check up for that safety car delta there.
He's coming around. There we go. He's in the wall. I guess he made contact coming out on some colder tires at the restart. And we've got more people going into the pits now. Ballas, Andrew killing for cash. Joseph Cozy obviously with his damage. Thomas with his damage as well, getting everything replaced. Ivor Bryn is in the pits. Thomas Elben, Klunenberg, all of them decided to pit again.
Yeah, and this promotes Annihilator right back into the lead, right where he started. So all those guys who stayed out on the mediums after the first safety car, I think electing to take them off here, it's a smart decision. You can ride hard tires all the way until the end. So that's what we're seeing Ivor Bryn and Thomas do right now. We're seeing a couple of softs go on too as well, though. I'm not so sure about those ones. They're not going to last too long, and you're essentially banking on another safety car here. Which, in their defense, is likely. This is Baku we're talking about, but it's an interesting strategy to kind of put all your cards into, I should say.
Yes, and we've got a second safety car in just 5 laps of 26 here. We're currently on lap 6, but already under the safety car, but we had the safety car come out at the end of lap 5. Only, what, a lap and a half after it came out, so we've got quite a bit of action already going on. Now, we had some people elect not to pit under that safety car, and that would be the Annihilator and Tommy and Eisen, those who are running at the front of the grid, as well as LSF1 Roman, but he's on a hard tire, so he's going to be in a much better position than the front 3 runners right now. Eisen especially on a 5-lap old. And then, we've got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car for Thomas Elb 10.
Oh, that's going to hurt for him. He can't serve that under safety car. He's going to have to wait for everyone to go again. And actually, he is, I think I just saw him dive into the, no, that was another car there.
That's Eisen.
McLaren's, yeah, Eisen. Pitting there. I thought that was a Renault. I was going to say, he can't serve that under safety car. I hope he knows. We've seen a lot of people dive into the pits thinking they're about to serve their drive-through only to change tires and kind of, you know, mess up their strategy there. So unfortunate for Thomas there. It's an easy penalty to take. Sometimes you're just not paying attention, or sometimes you just take a corner a little bit too quickly and it runs your delta up so high that you can't slow down in time. So he's going to have to drive through the pits very slowly. It's going to cost him a lot of penalty positions, especially on a safety car restart. When everyone's bunched up together, we're going to see him drop very far down here soon.
So something interesting to mention there, ISRL D10 deciding to pit twice under the safety car. The first time he went onto soft tires, and then he decided to just go onto hard tires right now. He is in 13th place, so that didn't drop him too many positions because of all the other drivers that decided to pit under this second safety car as well. That was an interesting call, though. I mean, it's a very huge risk. You're going to lose about 40 seconds on 2 laps, pitting twice. So I'm very interested to see how that's going to work out for him. But in the meantime, also, LSF1 Roman has been promoted to 3rd place with everybody else pitting around him. And he's currently, I would say, in terms of tires, in one of the best positions, running in 3rd position on a hard tire that's only 4 laps old. We're currently running under the safety car, so you'll be able to preserve that tire life for a little bit longer, for a couple of laps at least. So he's pretty much going until the end here. And then the likes of Tommy and the Annihilator, unless they're going to be absolutely OP with their tire management, they're probably going to have to pit again. Now, another person to point out as well, who was actually our leader before we had the second safety car come out and he went into the pits, was Pepa's Max. He's only on a 1-lap hold hard tire and currently in 5th place. He had some pace in the race earlier today, so as long as he can keep up with the front runners, he'll be able to possibly recover those positions, get into a better position, and then battle with the likes of Roman and Tommy and the Annihilator later on.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at the tires used so far, I did notice Lewis has only used mediums so far. He has to pit again to set to use another tire compound. He went medium in his pit stop. And Tommy and Annihilator, they both use 2 different compounds. They're good if they can make their tires last until the end. I don't think those medium tires will last until the end, though. So in our top 10 right now, from what I'm seeing, is that Rome, Pipo's Max, and Aizen, Raven, and Thomas, and Ivor Bryn all can go until the end without having to pit again. Thomas, obviously, we know he has that drive-through. He is going to drop out of our top 10, but it's looking like we have a couple guys who are basically geared up to the end of this race if they can just keep clean and not, you know, have to pit for a new wing or anything.
Yeah, and there we go. D10 getting one of those penalties that we've been talking about earlier under the safety car, getting a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. And there's just particular corners on certain tracks that you can run in regular race setup and get a warning for, but then if you run them over under the safety car, you either get a 5 or even I've seen a 10-second penalty for some people. So this is all coming into effect here today and all mixing things up for our drivers. It's already been one hell of a race, and we're only 8 laps into a 26-lap race here at Baku for round 2 of 7 races only in this second season of ISRL Esports. Just a reminder, this is Tier 3, but we do have Tier 2 and Tier 1 coming later on today. In terms of the podium challengers here today, we've covered those, but do you think we're going to see any possible other surprises from anybody lower down the grid at the moment?
At the moment, I want to say, I mean, he's not on the podium right now, but we did talk about him. Pipo's Mex, I think, he's my top choice of people not on the podium right now to get one of those podiums. But I don't want to discount the likes of Joseph Cozy, who's been known to keep that Red Bull clean and just kind of sneak into, you know, a 3rd or a 2nd place very late in the race. He did it in Australia. I definitely think he can do it again. He's been known to be a very, very clean driver, very no-nonsense. He's not going to make a move unless he knows for sure he can make it stick. And that kind of contributes to just making him have that intact car at the end when everyone else has to pit, especially around tracks like this. And I definitely think he's going to be, he's my dark horse right now in the field.
Alright, and we've restarted from under the safety car after another 5-second penalty for someone there, for Balazandra actually making severe contact with someone. But the Annihilator and Roman has actually managed to get himself into 2nd position around Tommy, so already making quite a bit of headway in terms of positions in this race. Oh, we've got contact at the back with ISRL Tommy making contact with the back of Roman, and that's gonna impede him in terms of trying to get through the field. Now he almost makes contact into the wall as well, and now Lewis and Pipos Max, who have gained a couple of positions already, they're all closing in on them very, very quickly.
Yeah, Tommy with a little bit of front wing damage there. He's missing an end plate. I'm not sure if that happened earlier or directly from the contact with Rome, but he's going to be lacking a little bit of downforce here as he lost that at some point on the racetrack.
Yeah, that was definitely from his contact with the back of Roman. I saw that piece flying off, and that was just missing his braking point is I guess all that you can say about that one. We've got another yellow flag in Sector 2. Somebody is having trouble in the castle section.
That's Raven.
And D10 is already missing an end plate as well, and Raven, yeah, had a massive incident there. He's missing a whole piece of his front wing as well. That's going to put him all the way back to the back of the grid, so he's going to have to pit again just after pitting under the safety car.
Lewis as well, I just caught that with corner of my eye. He made big contact
in that rapid two set of left-handers coming out of the castle section, and he's missing about half his front wing right now. He's going to have to pit. There's absolutely no question about it. He can't even take that back straight flat out anymore, and down the order he goes.
Oh, Thomas Elb into the pits, as well as Tommy, as well as Lewis. Ooh. And Lewis gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He was trying to overtake somebody, the Renault of Thomas Elb. He was trying to overtake it into the pits, so that's going to hurt him as well. And now D10 is into the pits as well. He had some damage on his front wing as well. So this now lets the Annihilator get away a little bit. He's 1.5 seconds clear of Roman, and Roman is almost 4 seconds clear of Pepas, but he's closing in now on the Annihilator, so he might be putting in the push earlier than we thought in this race. Azen is a second behind Pepas, and then Ivor Bryn has now made his way back through the grid again after having a little bit of an incident earlier on, and he's now into 5th place. Joseph is up into 6th as well, but having a little bit of trouble through some of the corners and under attack from Klunenberg as well.
I think Joseph is missing an end plate as well. I don't know when he lost that, but it's probably why he's taking some of these corners a little bit slower than Klunenberg behind him. A great comeback for Ivor Bryn Mike. We saw him spinning on lap 1 there, but set him all the way to the back of the grid. He's already back into P5. And I did want to touch very quickly on that penalty Lewis took in the pit lane. Thomas was just serving his drive-through, and I don't know if Lewis missed his braking point or he really was going for the overtake, but he wasn't at risk of getting held up there. Thomas was just driving through the pit lane, not pitting, and so he basically took a 5-second penalty to get ahead of a guy who was never going to stop, and I'm sure he's not going to be happy to learn that.
And now we're watching Azen making a move onto Pepas Max on the straight at the end of the track here. He does make the move around the outside. Let's see if he's going to make it stick. They're coming into turn 1 now, and it looks like Azen is going to move up into 3rd position, already into the podium positions now, but he's got a little bit of a train forming behind him, and we're going to have DRS enabled here hopefully soon. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. It's Joseph who spun out and made contact with Klunenberg, and I think there was another car that was involved in that as well. I saw about 3 cars going wide into turn 1, and now Joseph seems to be missing another end plate. I think Joe Dimon, oh, he's into the wall again, Joseph. This is all going wrong for him, so he's just letting cars through now. Klunenberg is missing both of his end plates as well on this car. I think those guys are going to have to pit again. Not sure if people are going to start getting frustrated here soon enough and possibly just retiring in the pits.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised we don't have any more retirements so far. I'm not sure what happened between Joseph Cozy and Klunenberg. It might have been just another instance of what the Red Bulls did here in 2018. Where they just unfortunately made contact with each other after fighting very hard. They both got sent straight through the end of turn 1, and it's going to end up costing both of those cars quite a lot of time there as they have to make their way back through the racetrack with not much downforce.
Yeah, Klunenberg is now down to 10th place. Joseph is down to 14th and having a lot of trouble trying to make it around this track. I'm now on board with Thomas Elb here and watching him as he's trying to close in on Ballas Andrew, who's got a couple of penalties coming his way. I think he did serve one of them in the pits, but I did see his name come up a couple of times with penalties. Oh, and he goes wide through 18 and 19, and that promotes Thomas Elb into 8th place. Now he's got to catch up to Killing for Cash up into 7th, and we've got Ivor Bryn going wide through turn 1. And he is going to lose a couple of positions here as well. He was trying to make an overtake on Pepas Max, and something went wrong there. Unfortunately, we missed it, but he had to take to the runoff in turn 1 and do a little bit of a spin around. That's also going to cook his tires a bit.
Yeah, Tommy and Lewis having a very good battle into turn 1 here, going wheel to wheel right up until they couldn't go anymore. But Tommy coming out on top here. Looks like he's making a bid to get back up into those podium spots where he was earlier in this race. Thomas, oh my goodness, Thomas spinning around there. Look at that, coming out of turn 3s. And he's going to lose a ton of positions there. Not sure if that was alone or if that was with Killing for Cash, who was right next to him. But Thomas losing his whole front wing there in turn 3.
Absolutely. We were just switching over on board with him as I was seeing that there was a battle and the gap was closing in, and just as we switched on board, they had a little bit of contact, but yeah, Thomas Elb definitely came out worse off that one, missing quite a bit of his front wing now, had a bit of a spin. He's pretty much missing all of his front wing. Kluenberg F1 has left the session, so I'm not sure if he had a disconnection or if he just decided that enough was enough here.
He did retire his car, so yeah, I think he just had enough with how this race turned out.
And that's very, very unfortunate for him today. But now all of this sort of battling has let the front runners get away. Oh, and what happened there? Killing Forget just letting Lewis through. Oh, no, I think that was actually Joseph Cozy being lapped by those cars.
But that is out.
Yeah, and VSC is out, and that created a little bit of almost of an incident for Lewis coming through. I think it was the exit of turn 15 there, and having Joseph slow down in front of him quite rapidly. Thomas Elb has now left the session as well, so he DNF'd, and that's probably why we have the VSC.
Joseph Cozy here, yeah, just banked it off that outside wall, going a little bit too quick, maybe got a little bit of that curve on the inside, and it just kind of sent him into that barrier. Nothing he could have done there.
And we've got more people in the pits now, and oh my god, we've got people with a lot of stops already. We've got currently quite a few runners that have made 3 stops in the race already. Other people have made 2 stops, and then your front 4 runners have only made their 1 stop in this race, but some of them, like the Annihilator, might have to pit again as he is still on a medium set of tires.
Yeah, and it shows that the front 4 have only pitted once. They're between 4th and 5th, there's a 18-second gap right now, and it's basically the gap of a pit stop here in Baku. So we're seeing that I guess pit stops are going to be the ones that are going to make the difference here, provided we don't get a safety car until the end. Of course, you get a safety car, everything bunches up again, and whoever done the least pit stop, that advantage, you just lose it.
Yeah, this is all still for play here today, and we've seen people spinning out and having lots of moments and incidents, and just even coming out of corners by themselves without making contact. So we could still possibly see a lot of that here today. We don't really have any close battles on track right now. I'm pretty much on board with ISRL Tommy, who's a second and a half down on Lewis, but that is the closest we've got on track, as the Annihilator is 5 seconds ahead of Roman, Eisen is 5 seconds behind them, and then Peppa's Mex is 4.5 seconds behind Eisen, and then, as you said, Lewis is 15 seconds ahead of behind them. So there's huge gaps turning out on the track right now. Even looking at the track map, this is something that's very surprising for Baku. You've got people pretty much running in all completely different ends of the track today.
Yeah, very spread out grid here, despite the safety car finishing just 10 laps ago, and or less than that. So the grid just getting very spread out here through a mix of pit stops, just battling, and pace difference. And
oh, the Annihilator, 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. So I'm not sure if he had to completely cut a corner somewhere, but let's go on board with him here. I'm guessing if he's starting to have any sort of trouble with his tires here, because he's on 11 lap old mediums, so he's had them on the safety car for maybe a lap or 2, and then he's been racing on them for the last like 9 laps. In terms of mediums compared to like softs, I know softs burn out in like 7 or 8 laps, but do you think mediums can take it too much longer than that?
I would assume probably 16 to 18 laps here on the medium, so he still has definitely a little bit of distance that he can go on them, but they're not going to make it to the end, that's for sure. So I would predict probably... Oh, actually, he's going to pit right now, I think. I was going to predict around lap 16, 17, he was going to dive into the pits, but looks like he's going to make the call just to go in on lap 15 right now. What tires is he going to put on?
He's going to put on another medium. Yeah, another set of medium, and he's changing his front wing, so that 5-second time penalty. Oh, and he's serving it right now as well. Yeah. So he's pretty much taking care of all of his problems in this race all at once, and now he's going to be on an attack. He's going to be on the softest set of tires out of everybody on the grid, except those who are running on the softs. And he's going to be on the medium set that can be taken till the end of the race. He's going to come out right now in 5th, but he's going to be under pressure from Tommy coming into turn 2. They're gonna make it through there, and the Annihilator is down to 5th place, but he does not have to pit again, so he's going till the end here. He's got a 10.5 second gap to Lewis, but overall to the leader, he's got about 30 seconds.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to really put the laps in here and close up that gap, because they don't have to pit again. They're all on our top 3 is all on the hard tires right now. Actually, our top 4 is on the hard tires, so they will be a little bit slower than Annihilator, yes, but unless they ran into the wall and break their wing, they don't have to.
We've got a
again.
safety car.
Oh,
what's
well,
going on there?
Everything.
Joe Dimas.
Yeah. Where did he crash out?
I didn't see it. I was trying to find it on the track, but it almost looks like he crashed somewhere towards the end of the track, like somewhere towards the pit, because I was following around with Raven, who was coming to the end of the track, and he only switched positions right at the very end. Oh, and now Raven running into the wall at the exit of turn 2. He didn't know if he should overtake the safety car or not, and now he's missing an end plate on his front wing as well. We've got a huge
have to pit for that.
We've got a huge change of events here on lap 15 of 26, lap 16 now. So we're only got 10 more laps to go. Everybody can now switch out. Yeah, everybody can now switch up to some fresh soft tires and possibly take them to the end, or maybe mediums. Let's see what they do. Peppa's Max is now into the pits as well.
Yeah, Rome grabbed a set of soft tires. It puts him down into P2 behind Azen, but he's gonna absolutely blow by that McLaren as soon as the safety car restarts there, with the pace difference between the softs and the hard tires. Lewis isn't pitting. Annihilator obviously is not pitting, and Pipos is going to be coming out of the pit P6 on the medium tires. So interesting choice there from Rome. The only one putting on the soft tires. I don't. At this point, I'm unsure if they're going to last competitively until the end.
Yeah, now we've also got Hartman Esports in the pits. He just served his penalty and just got all of his tires changed. Medium tire. So again, another shakeup of strategies and tires in this race. Joseph now moves up to looks like 8th position with everybody pitting around him, so he's got a chance to recover some points here today. He started I think in 6th or 8th place, somewhere around there. Killing for cash, 5-second penalty for crossing the pit lane exit.
Oh, that's a penalty we don't see very often. I've been able to, you know, sometimes you cross that white line accidentally 2 or 3 times in the race and it still won't give you a penalty. Very unlucky for killing for cash. He must have done it quite a few times already this race for him to get a 5-second for that. It's gonna, especially with the safety car restart, that's gonna bunch everybody up together. I think that's gonna be a costly penalty in the grand scheme of things.
So just to run through the grid right now, I know it's been changing many times throughout the race here today, but as it stands right now on lap 16, and we're coming to the end of lap 16 of 26, Azen is up out front in 1st position on a hard tire that's 9 laps old. Roman in 2nd is on a brand new soft tire. We've got Lewis on a 6-lap old hard tire in 3rd position. The Annihilator has just pitted right before the safety car came out onto a set of medium tires, and he's in 4th position. Ivor Bryn still in that 5th position that he's managed to recover to after having a spin in the very early parts of this race. He's on a brand new, or sort of brand new, 3-lap old medium tire, and then Pipos Mex has dropped down to 6th position on a brand new set of mediums. Tommy has switched on to soft tires. So very big mix of tires. This is the grid as it stands right now, down to 7th and 8th. Joseph is in 8th, and then Hartman is in 9th. Killing for Cash in 10th. D10 in 11th. Ballas Andrew in 12th. He has not had a very good race. He's had a lot of penalties and incidents today. And Raven J11, I haven't seen him. Oh, he's just retired from the race.
There he goes. And in the castle section, I think he's just pushing hard to catch up to the safety car queue, and dropped it in the castle section under safety car. That's not a good accident to take here this late in the race, or at all. In fact, under safety car, you just have to take it slow, and I think he just sends it right into the castle section wall.
And this might also prolong the safety car for another lap, so that's gonna sort of prolong the life of the tires of some of the drivers on the grid. I'm following around with Azen right now. I'm hoping that by the time that, oh no, there we go. Unfortunately, it disappeared. Raven disappeared from the field, but I was hoping that we would get around to the castle section to see what happened to him. But I was gonna mention him since, you know, I didn't really see him have any major incidents in the race, so I was hoping that he would be recovering through the field thanks to all these incidents around him and the safety cars and stuff. But still, I guess he just didn't have the pace today and had a frustrating race, so he's decided to bank it, to go into the wall, and he's out.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was on purpose or not, but I'm sure if he was as frustrated as I would have been after that race, then I wouldn't blame him for kind of accidentally, you know, with bunny ears on each side, hitting that wall.
Yeah,
there.
the castle section is not easy to get through. I mean, definitely. So he could have just spun out or cold tires. Definitely anything could have happened.
Maybe it's just lack of focus. You know how sometimes it is. You get a bad race, you're a little bit frustrated, and you stop paying attention for a split second, and next thing you know, you're out of this race. And yeah, like you said, the safety car is definitely going to get extended for a little bit. It's going to let Balaz, Andrew, and Killing for Cash catch up to the pack here. I would assume it's going to launch here after on lap 18, at the end of it rather, is going to give us a nice little 6-lap shootout to the end of this race. That's going to kind of, all this is playing right into the hands of Rome, who's on the soft tires. Definitely not putting any stress on them right now. If he takes it easy, he's going to have basically brand new tires to last 6 laps, which is more than enough for softs, and I could see him in the lead in a matter of time once the safety car heads into the pits.
Yeah, and this is our 3rd safety car in this race. It came out on lap 15 or 16 of this race of 26 laps in total. For those of you who have been watching or have just joined up, as a reminder, this is round 2 of 7 races in this season 2 of ISRL Esports, and this is tier 3. We do have tier 2 and tier 1 coming up later on today. Not much later at this point now. So yeah, and we've had a lot of shakeups in this race. It's been one hell of a race so far. There hasn't been much on-track battling, as it seems like whenever people were putting pressure on other people, they would either end up in an incident together, or someone would go wide and try to go a little bit too eager into some corners. So that has created a lot of changes of position, but not too many of them were actually due to battling on track. We've had a few that we caught on the screen, but so far it's really been a game of strategy, of when you pit, what sort of tires you go on to, how you play to the safety cars that come out, and just staying out of the walls and staying out of incidents.
Yeah, it's like I mentioned at the start, this race is very much a battle of attrition. It's who can survive, not who can win or who can go the fastest. It's who can survive. And with the walls so close and the speed so high, sometimes it's a matter of inches between getting to that finish line or you know, staying stuck in that wall. So the drivers that we're seeing at the front here, and they haven't always been clean today. We saw Lewis take some front wing damage. We saw Annihilator take some front wing damage as well. He had to get that changed. So, but they're drivers that were able to keep it clean enough that it didn't cause them to retire, and that's why they're ahead right now.
All right, and the safety car is coming in on the end of this lap, as I'm watching on board right now with the Annihilator, who was the leader of this race for a very long time, but is now down in 4th place. He does have a brand new set of medium tires, so he might be able to attack here. We're gonna watch as they're starting to speed up a little bit now. I'm still seeing the safety car going into the pits, so they went a little bit too quick, too early, and now everybody's gonna get bunched up a little bit. Oh, we've got people going 4 and 3 wide into turn 1. The Annihilator, oh, we've got an incident already. Yes, it's in the Annihilator and Peepaw's Max making, oh, and they're into the wall. We've got some people crashing out completely out of this race now.
What? So I'm not sure what happened there. That was absolute chaos.
Ivor, Brent, Joseph, Cozy, and I think Killing for Cash and Ballas, Andrew, they were all involved. Peepaw's Max got a tiny little bit involved in that, but he managed to come out in 5th place now. But at the front now, Roman has taken the lead of the Grand Prix. And we've got a yellow flag in Sector 1.
lost a lot of time on that corner, lost about 3 positions. He did not time his safety car restart well at all. He's got a lot of wing damage here. He's going to keep dropping down the field.
Ivor Brin is now DNF'd. He's retired from the runoff at turn 1.
Yeah, so he was one of those guys involved in that turn 1 incident on the restart. I assume he picked up a fair bit of wing damage, and either he just wasn't able to get it slowed down in time, or he's had enough of the race today. At this point, if you finish, you get a point. So all these drivers should definitely, even if they got wing damage, you just keep pitting, and you just try to get to the end, because if you can get at least 24 laps done, you're going to be getting your point today.
This is very interesting now. Towards the end of the... Joseph is running at the very... Yeah, he's not had a very good race here today, but I mean, this is one of the hardest tracks that you could possibly imagine in terms of Formula 1 2019. The only other ones that I can really think of are Monaco and Singapore that really provide this sort of level of difficulty for all the drivers. You have to be focused here 100% of the time from lap 1 until the very end of everything. And Hartmann has now overtaken his teammate Pipos Max into 4th position. He's on a brand new set of soft tires, as well as Tommy ahead of him in 3rd. So those two might be able to come into a little bit of a battle towards the end of the race here. Lewis is doing a great job of pulling away a 1.5 seconds from Tommy, but he is 2 seconds down on Roman, who's on that brand new soft set. So just like you predicted off the restart of this race, Roman really capitalized on that incident in turn 1 and just managed to get ahead.
Yeah, and it's that soft tire, that grip advantage that just kind of let him pull off and not be touched. But if Lewis can stay close here, those tires will start falling off before the end of this race. And if Lewis can just stay within range where he might be able to get DRS, he has a shot at the win here. He just has to keep that car out of the wall.
Oh, D10 trying to make an overtake on Killing for Cash and going very, very wide there. And now he's under attack from Ballas-Andrew. They're going side by side into the castle section, almost making a huge incident there, but they're able to get through there. Killing for Cash going very wide on the exit of turn 12. And now D10 is down by more than a second on him, and Ballas-Andrew is catching up to D10, so this is going to be very interesting to see if he'll be able to close in and rise a couple more positions. D10 is not having a good time, as Ballas-Andrew making a tiny bit of contact with the exit of turn 15. You don't want to make any contact on this track, especially with the damage model that we've got for this year on this game. It's not very forgiving at all. We're now coming to the end of lap 20 and starting out lap 21 of 26. Only 5 more laps to go. And this has been one hell of a race so far. It's not over yet. We've got a few more laps to go. Oh, and Ballas-Andrew is going into the pit, so I'm guessing he's got damage from running wide through there. He does not seem to have damage, so he might just be going in to retire. So that's going to pretty much give everybody points here today, as you said. Yeah. And now 2 points to fight for, even if you finish last. But let's see what he's going to do.
Might be going for fastest lap as well.
Oh, he's got a drive-through.
Yeah. Just serving his drive-through there. Smart of him. He's not going to lose any positions. So he keeps his 8th place. He doesn't lose any points. And he gets his drive-through done. He doesn't really have a choice but to do that, or else he's going to get disqualified. But he picked a very good moment to do it.
All right, and in the front, in the meantime, we've got ISRL Tommy, who's managed to close in the gap to Lewis. He's almost down to under a second now, and Lewis, in the meantime, is also catching up to Roman. So this is very interesting to see. I guess maybe there's a bit of tire management difference going on between the two drivers in 3rd and 1st, who are currently both on the soft tires. It looks like Tommy is able to sort of get a little bit more pace out of them in these early stages of their life after we've gotten restarted after the safety car. We don't have DRS enabled just yet, but it should be getting enabled in the next lap or two. And yeah, he's now under a second down on Lewis, so he might be able to close in and fight for 2nd instead of sticking in 3rd. This is going to be one battle that we should be probably following.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is just Rome conserving his tires or if they're actually falling off this quickly, but he's lost about a 1.5 seconds in 2 laps here to the guys behind him, and in DRS range, this is going to be dangerous for him.
And DRS is enabled now as well, so those 3 front runners, they're all in DRS zone of each other now. Lewis is only within 7/10, Tommy's within 7/10, so everybody is closing in very, very quickly. But those in first and third are now on soft tires that have been on the track for about 5 laps now, and they're gonna start losing a little bit of that pace, so you have to be much more careful with them. And now Tommy is setting the first sector into purple, so he's definitely on the charge.
Yeah, and with DRS, that definitely helps here. He's got about two cars worth of slipstream to enjoy, and less air resistance, higher top speed, and it's allowed him to very much close up on the guys ahead.
And they're now within, oh, Lewis is only within 4 tenths or 3 tenths now. He's closing in very quickly. Tommy's still within that 7-tenth gap that he was on the last lap. So, wow, we're coming into the last couple of corners here on lap 22 of 26. He's gonna have DRS on this straight as well. He's closing in very quickly. I think there might be a difference of setup playing here as well. And now Lewis is going to definitely have enough of a gap to attack on Roman.
Yeah, now Rome is saving a ton of battery here. He was at 75% ERS at the start of the straight, whereas Lewis and Tommy are both below 20. So Rome, I think, letting them catch up a little bit, letting them waste their ERS, waste their tires, and he's going to have enough to fight back and keep them behind as long as he doesn't get squeezed into the wall there. That was very close.
He almost did get squeezed into the wall, and I was going to say just before that Roman is doing a very good job defending, and I noticed that he's missing an end plate on the left side of his front wing, so even more impressive, but now he's lost both of those positions. Tommy is up into second. Lewis, oh, he's just hit the wall. Lewis has just touched the wall at the exit of turn 4. He's missing a front plate on his wing as well, and now Tommy is going to be in for a chance for a win here possibly, and Roman might be able to regain some positions.
Yeah, that's going to slow Lewis down quite a bit. I know Rome also has a little bit of end plate damage, so Lewis on the soft tires with a full front wing, he's in the best position to get this win right now, but he still has to get past Lewis. You know, sometimes you get a little bit of damage in this game, and it turns out it doesn't affect your drive all that much, and it's looking like Lewis getting through the castle section very clean there. It's not affecting his speed all that much, that missing end plate.
This is all kicking off towards the last 3 laps of this race. It's been one hell of a race already with all the safety cars that we've had, and now a bit of shake-up towards the end as well with ISRL Lewis touching the wall just after taking the lead from ISRL Tommy, and Roman dropping down to 3rd from being in the lead just a couple of laps ago. Now they're all trying to attack on each other and close in. As you've mentioned, ERS is going to come into effect here as well. Have you been managing so far? Roman is at 30% right now. Tommy is at 1%, so he's got 0 right now. Actually, he's got nothing left. And Lewis is sitting at 11% as well. So they're all pretty much at the end of their battery. They're going to have to try and manage their battery a little bit better. I mean, when you're in the DRS zone and you've got the DRS open, you can pretty much switch it down to like medium or high or even low to try and save a little bit on the straights as you're catching slipstream on the car ahead, and I don't think our drivers are doing that today.
No, they're all pushing very hard. Nobody willing to leave anything on the table. I think these guys want to cross the line on 0% ERS and 0-0 on the fuel. They want to leave absolutely everything they can on this racetrack. They're all in position to get a win. It's going to be about who can get that last push. It seems like they're switching positions just about every second lap here. So they're going to keep pushing until the end. Nobody is willing to give up at this stage in the race.
And only 2.5 laps to go here as we're coming around to pretty much the middle sector of this lap on lap 24 of 26. Only a little bit more to go, but now Lewis is managing to actually catch up or pull away from Tommy, who's now dropped down to 0.8 of a second behind him, and Roman is only within a couple of tenths there of Tommy. So again, we're having a little bit of pace changes. Maybe the tires are now coming into effect for both of those drivers, and Lewis has managed to save a bit of ERS as well that he's going to be able to try and defend with on this straight as they're coming to the end of lap 24. Now Roman is really closing up on Tommy. Is he gonna go for a move here as they're coming around to the start-finish straight? He's gonna go down the inside into turn 1. Let's see how this is gonna work out for them. Is he gonna be able to make that one stick? They make a tiny bit of contact, and then he almost spins out on the exit there, Roman, so he doesn't make that one happen just yet. Making also tiny bit of contact with the back of Tommy coming into turn 2. So Tommy doing a very good job of defending.
Yeah, and Rome is the one out of this top 3 here who's the best at managing his ERS. It might also be why he's in P3 right now. He's kind of letting go of the ERS, of the throttle here in these slower corners, getting that battery up, and I think he's just kind of planning a move later on here. Maybe on the last lap he's biding his time, but he wishes, I think, to be in P2 at least, because Lewis seems to have the outright pace advantage down the main straight.
Yeah, running a little bit wide there through turn 7, and now coming into the castle section, doing a pretty good job of sticking with Tommy and with Lewis as well. But not too many more opportunities to go in this race. So Roman's gonna have to really time his go and his move to perfection, and to absolute perfection, to make sure that he doesn't get involved in any sort of last lap incidents, and that he makes his move as clean as possible to try and gain a few more points in this Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku here in round 2 of season 2 of ISRL Esports. And this is tier 3. Oh, both of them going a little bit swirly through turns 18 and 19. ISRL Tommy having the back stepping out and almost making contact with the outside wall. Roman getting a little bit wiggly as well, but he's able to keep it together. He's now going down the inside into turn 1. He's moving up into second position. He manages to make that one stick, even though they made a tiny little bit of contact with Tommy there. I heard the noise from the onboard. Doesn't seem to be any sort of damage. Now Roman makes a tiny touch with the wall on the exit of turn 2, and Tommy is gonna have the DRS on him. So is he gonna be able to make a switchback move here to try and take that position back? Not yet, and we're on the last lap. This is lap 26 of 26. Not many more corners to go here. We're gonna have the start-finish straight being pretty much the last DRS spot where you can try and make a clean overtake.
Yeah, and through the castle here, I don't think any positions are going to change. Now, Rome is starting to pull away from Tommy a little bit. Lewis, though, absolutely dominating performance. He's just so far ahead, and I'm not sure how penalties are going to come affect this race. We know a lot of penalties have been handed out, and I do want to say I haven't seen these guys' names here too often, but it might actually come and play a hand in the end of this race, as they're all going down to the main straight one final time. Nobody within DRS range of anyone anymore, though. Looks like they've all kind of spread out just a tiny bit.
And I think that's pretty much gonna be it for our finishing positions here, unless somebody makes a really bad run through the last couple of curves on this track and possibly crashes out to lose positions. But Roman seems to make it clean through there. Tommy makes it clean as well. So ISRL Lewis is gonna be our man here tonight in Baku, winning the Grand Prix as he crosses the line now on a hard tire that he managed to retain. But no, he actually drops down to 3rd position for I think that was for not serving a penalty. So Tommy moves up to 2nd. Roman is our winner here today, managing to make those soft tires last until the end of the race. Peepaw's Max, he manages to finish in 4th position. Hartman, his teammate in the Mercedes, crosses in 5th. And looks like our next finishers are going to be Killing for Cash, coming to cross the line in 6th. Azen is not going to be very happy with this one. He's not even at the end of the 1st sector yet, as some of our, at the end of the 3rd sector, as some of our finishers are already coming to finish now.
Yeah, and he had a shot at the lead here. I think he sent himself into the wall.
Oh, one last battle at the very end here. To the line, we've got a battle between D10 and Joseph, and D10 with no front wing manages to finish ahead of Joseph, coming down to the last seconds and the last inches on the track. So we just had action from literally start to finish. We couldn't even get a second, and after a huge turn of events at the very end of the race, with penalties coming to play, as you mentioned, we've got a completely different winner.
Yeah, and yeah, it's it's been a hectic race. Positions changing all the time. We had about 7 or 8 drivers with a legitimate shot at winning today, but in the end, it's LAS F1 Rome who picks up the top step on that podium, as well as a nice nifty 25 points to go with his championship totals.
Wow, so I don't even know how to summarize that race. If you guys missed out on it, please go back and rewatch it. But Lewis crossed the line first, but he did have a 5-second penalty, which demoted him down to 3rd place. So Roman wins the race, and Tommy manages to get the 2nd podium position there. Peepaws Max in 4th, Hartman in 5th, Killing for Cash in 6th, Aizen in 7th, D10 in 8th, Joseph Cozy in 9th, Balazandro in 10th, Ivor Bryn in 11th, The Annihilator in 12th, Raven in 13th. Basically everybody down from Ivor Bryn did not finish. So Ivor Bryn, Annihilator, Raven, Joe Dimas, Thomas Elb, Klunenberg, and Mason Harris were all DNFs in this race. So we only had a total of I think what, 8 finishers or 10 finishers?
I think we had 9 or 10 finishers here. But with so much carnage, I'm honestly surprised we didn't have anybody a lap down.
Absolutely. Now, are you able to get any of our podium finishers into the stream? We might be able to ask them some questions and see how.
Absolutely trying right now.
All right, perfect.
I sent a couple invites. We're just gonna have to hope they join in.
No problem. All right, so we're gonna be waiting for Lewis, Tommy, and Roman. And yeah, as I said, if you guys have missed out on this race, you guys definitely want to go back and rewatch this one, because this is one for the books. Absolutely. We had incidents that were both from contact and just from coming together between certain cars. We had penalties come into effect with 3 safety cars, which was very impressive even on F1 2019. I think I haven't seen too many races with 3 safety cars and only 9 finishers. So very exciting.
No, absolutely not. This was a hectic race.
Absolutely, and we've still got more action to come later on tonight, as this was the Tier 3 race. Every Sunday we have a triple header of Tier 3, Tier 2, and Tier 1, all racing at different times throughout the day, 2 hours apart from each other, but all on the same track, and they're all commentated on and all streamed, as well as our Tier 4 race on Saturdays. So if you guys don't follow the channel yet, I would really encourage you to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, let us know what you guys thought about the race here today. I've seen quite a few comments coming in, but yeah, I don't see any of our finishers joining up just yet.
No, unfortunately not. It looks like maybe they're too busy celebrating. I did invite them, but nobody joined. But no, either way, this was absolutely a fantastic race. Lots of excitement, lots of drama, and more importantly, a nice battle all the way till the end between more than one car. So yeah, great race from these drivers today.
Yeah, we literally had battling going on until people crossed the finishing line. Joseph Cozy again making a name for himself with a great race here today and a huge battle at the very end of the Grand Prix. So yeah, if you guys have enjoyed this one, as I said, leave a comment, leave a like. Thank you again to all the league organizers for doing such a huge, amazing job of everything that goes into organizing all of the racing action in this league. If you guys are interested in joining as well, all the details are in the description. Oh, and now we've got ISRL Tommy joining in with us. We were just about to end the stream, but I guess since we've got one of our podium finishers, Tommy, how did it go from your perspective? Wow, so how did you manage to keep them together, or was there sort of a turning point within the race that you felt really gave you the good position here today? All right, well, great race from you, and congratulations on that podium finish. We're hoping to see more great performances throughout the season from you and all of our other drivers in Tier 3. Thanks to all the drivers again for providing one hell of a race for us to commentate on. And ISRL Knight, huge thanks to you as well for being my co-commentator today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for this beautiful play-by-play.
Absolutely. It was a one hell of a race to watch and a very exciting race to commentate on as well. I'm hoping again for much more of this to come in this short season 2 of ISRL Esports. But please join us later on today in just 25 minutes or so. We're going to be starting our stream for Tier 2 back here in Azerbaijan again. We're going to have commentary and streams for that. So join us up in a little bit. But thank you again for having us, and thank you again for having a great race. We'll see you soon. This has been BLIN-MACHINE and ISRL Night commentating. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care, guys.